Hello everyone, this is Brooke from Gear and Games, and today I'm looking at the Miyoo Mini and Miyoo Mini Plus, and whether or not you should get one of these or a different handheld. So I originally chose this mainly because I like the small form factor. The black one I got first, the Miyoo Mini, and then I got the Miyoo Mini Plus a little after that, maybe about like 3-4 months later. Now, there are tons of retro handhelds out there, so for a regular person who's never had a retro handheld, there's a lot to go through. So I'm going to try to simplify and why I chose these two, and whether or not you should do that or get something different. So the first thing that I had to think about was, what kind of systems do I want to play? The Miyoo Mini and Miyoo Mini Plus both go up to PlayStation 1, and they could play pretty much the whole entire PlayStation 1 library. There might be a few games where it's a little bit more challenging, but you can essentially play everything up to PS1. If you're looking to play something past PS1, these are not the handhelds for you. The next thing you should think about is size. Mainly, how do these fit in your hands, and the screen size and your eyesight. So, because these are not sold really in stores, I had to really picture what was it going to feel like in my hand. Now, you could buy them. They're not super expensive. The Miyoo Mini is about $50 on AliExpress. And then if you get off of Amazon, I think it's about closer to $55 to maybe $60, depending. The Miyoo Mini Plus is about the same. Sometimes you can get a little bit cheaper. But if you didn't want to risk it, and you just want to get a handheld for the time being, then you might want to figure out, how does it feel in your hand? So this is going to sound a little silly, but after taking the measurements, it's also been shown before that the Miyoo Mini is essentially like a deck of cards, both in length and width and in the thickness of it too, as you can see. So if you have a deck of cards laying around, you can kind of imagine holding it like this. It's about halfway across in the middle. So if you can imagine the screen here and where the buttons would be. On the back, there are little triggers here, L1, R1, L2, R2, but they're very flat, so again, you can always customize it, which we'll get back to in a little bit. But if you can hold this and see how that feels, or if your hand is going to get cramped up, that's another thing to note. For this was a little bit harder to size, but again, just going to take a little box of medicine, and essentially, this is slightly bigger, but again, it's about the same size as a box of, like, this was like Tylenol, whatever. So that's what I first did. Sounds a little bit silly, but I like to hold onto things in my hands to really know how it's going to feel. Now, the next thing is your eyesight. You might not have played some retro games in quite a while, and maybe your eyesight is not the best. So looking on a tiny screen like this, and for some people even this, these might be too small, and so therefore these and all the ones that have smaller screen sizes might not be the best for you. This one has a screen size of 2.8. This one has a screen size of 3.5. The next thing you're going to want to think about is, what kind of games you want to play on this handheld. So most people will probably want to play like this and use the triggers over here. And again, these are not terrible, but they could be better. And again, seems kind of weird, but holding that medicine box or the card deck, seeing where your hands are going to lie, how you'd want to hold it, could change and be a deal breaker for you. Now, if you're playing with something like an RPG or like Pokemon, for instance, you could play that game with one hand. And so having a smaller one like this might not be so bad if that's the kind of thing you're doing. Now, my hands, I guess, would be about like medium size, like women's hands. I could play this with one hand. It's a little bit of a stretch for me. My fingers are not very long. So, again, depending on the kind of games and how you're going to move your hands. If you have longer fingers, this might be a little bit more of a challenge for you, or just bigger hands in general. Now, as for comparing these handhelds to other ones, they have a lot of different options for operating systems. The number one for the Miyoo Mini and Miyoo Mini Plus is the Onion, or Onion OS. There's also MIUI, and then there's quite a few other ones, but Onion seems to be the most popular and is what I currently use, which I'll show you in a little bit. Now, if you go with a different handheld, Onion is solely for the Miyoo Mini and Miyoo Mini Plus, but MIUI and many other operating systems can be found on multiple different handhelds. So if you find one that you like, then you should be okay. As for accessories, a lot of the retro handhelds nowadays, you can get tons of accessories from, if you could see on this one, I haven't modded it too much, but I did put some PlayStation buttons on here. I love PlayStation. That's my main thing, and that's why I went with black. The PlayStation 2 was my main console when I was younger. This was by Secure Retro Modding. You can get a different D-pad. You can get different triggers to make it a little bit easier to push. You can get cases for them. You can also get ones that you can have, so you have little grips on it to make it a little bit easier to hold on to. So there's some that are kind of like handles here, or ones that are like a case and grip combined together. That's pretty awesome as well. Before I finish this video, I just wanted to quickly go over Onion OS and what to expect. There are plenty of other YouTubers out there that go more in depth, not only with Onion OS or the Miyoo Mini, but just in handhelds in general, and that have helped me figure out what kind of handheld I wanted. So I follow Retro Gamecore, Retro Handhelds, TechDweeb, and there's plenty of other people I used to figure out whether or not what handheld I wanted to get and why I chose this. So, as you know, I am a PlayStation fan, so besides the PlayStation buttons, I also got a PlayStation theme. The games are listed by the console, so I just have all of them showing, but I don't necessarily play with all of these. If you did want to just put the consoles that you actually care about up, you can definitely do so. What's really nice also is that if there is box art, you can also have it so it shows the box art. I think that's really nice. But if you want something simpler where it's just a list of the games, you could do that too. In favorites, you can have a list of all the most played games that you like, the favorite games you want to have a quick access to. Just to show you what the game looks like, I'm going to bring up Crash Bandicoot 2. And this is also to show you like how I hold the console myself. Again, I have smaller hands, so it's not, this might not be comfortable for you. It might seem too cramped if your hands is closed, or again, just your eyesight, it might be a little bit tricky. But yes. Anyways, let's go back to the menu. Another nice thing is Game Switcher, so if I just tap the menu button, I can sort through a few different games that I was playing. Pokemon Pinball, Combo Pool, and you can, again, also have quick access to the game that you might want to play recently if you didn't already close it. I'm going to go back to the main menu again. Now in apps, it does have several different things that it can do. One is RetroArch. This is where you can add different shaders, different filters, things that can be quality of life to things that just make the game a little bit nicer for you to play. I personally have not used it, but there are, again, tons of tutorials out there to show you how to use it properly if you wish to do so. Activity Tracker is nice to show you the games that you have played and how long. So as you can see, I played Pokemon Yellow, the original, for about 23 hours with Crash Bandicoot following through. Some other things on here which are nice. You have an ebook reader. I haven't personally put any books on here to read, but I do like how it does have that option, especially if you don't want to always have your phone out rather. This is a great way to still be able to read different things. There is a gallery for when you do take screenshots, so I know when I finished Crash Bandicoot 2 and completed the game, I definitely took a screenshot of that. Guest mode is nice, especially if there's someone that wants to try out your handheld, but you don't want to ruin your progress or have it show activity on it that it's not really yours. You can just quickly turn that mode on, and now it's being saved under the guest mode, not your actual report, which I really, really loved. There is a music player. Now, again, I do have some songs on here, but it's not necessarily going to sound like super nice because it's got a tiny speaker, if you can see it right here. That's it. But just to give you guys a general view of sound rather of what it's like. Again, it's not great, but if you just need a little something to hear, it definitely is nice. Moving on, there is also a PDF reader. Again, I personally have not used it, but again, it's good to have a lot of options. But the thing that is kind of fun, again, not super practical, but it's fun, is it has a video player. Now you do need to, edit the videos. You need to get a video editor to basically compress it down because it needs to be a very small resolution. But I do have Wally on here. One of my favorite videos. Or favorite movies. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, there's tons of other features available for you in these consoles. And the main reason why I chose this, especially this one, was because of the size. It fits well in my hand. I was able to easily figure out what size it is just by using a deck of cards and how it felt. But it is definitely not for everyone. There are ones that are smaller if you prefer something smaller. There are ones that are definitely bigger. If you feel that a vertical is too cramped or you want to play games that go well beyond PlayStation 1, there are tons of handhelds for that. Horizontal and ones that are based on different systems too. Some are based on Linux, which is this. You have some that are based on Android. And then you got the really high-end ones that are based on x86. Similar to a computer. So check out a lot of the channels, do your research. I know it's sometimes hard to picture what something's going to be like in your hand and how it's going to feel. But I hope this video helped you out, and I'll see you again soon.